Agencies are changing in 2026. The way they are acquiring clients is changing. The way they are operating is changing. The way our scaling is most definitely changing. And if you're not ahead of these changes, if you're not taking advantage of them before everybody else does, then you'll fall behind by default and you're going to be playing the game of catch up as per to the game of scaling. And having observed these changes firsthand through working with hundreds of service providers and agency owners, I put together a little document that I'm going to run you through and explain how these changes are going to happen coming into 2026 and how to take full advantage of them to make 2026 your most profitable, highest growth year yet. And watching this video before the start of the new year is going to give you a flying head start. I mean, taking action on the stuff from this video is you're going to be moving at speed by the time 2026 rolls around. And so what I've done is I put together a little Google Doc that you can see here explaining how agencies are changing in 2026 and what you need to do to get ahead. And I've broken it down to 3 different sections, okay? Operating, acquiring clients, and scaling. And I'm going to run you through them one by one. So again, you take action on this, your business is going to be on crack cocaine by the time the new year rolls around. Now, we're going to get started with operating. Now, there's a few different things to actually market or actually dive into when it comes to operating. And operating meaning running your business, right? So it's the back end, it's the systems, it's how you actually move. Now, the biggest change that I've seen that's actually going to come into play very soon is AI efficiency. Now, the ability to use AI already exists, but how you're going to be able to use it going into 2026 is going to be ridiculous. Now, AI efficiency, this is the first thing. AI efficiency is to streamline the task that would usually take people or 3 people a few days to condense down into a matter of minutes. Now, using AI tools to grow your business is nothing new. I mean, it's been nothing new since probably the end of 2024, start of 2025, since like ChatGPT 1.0 came out. But actually using it within your business to streamline efficiencies or to streamline procedures and operations, it's going to be insane. Now, there's a few different things I want to dive into when we're actually talking about how to use AI within your business. And I'm not an AI content creator, right? I don't know the top 10 tools that you should use, but what I'm going to do is explain how I'm using them within my business and how I see people using it and how people are getting ahead as a result of using it. Because using these AI tools and using them correctly is literally allowing you to take what 3 people would usually take a few days to do to condense it down into a matter of minutes. Now, there's a few different ways that I use AI personally within my business, my service-based business. I use it to script content, to generate ideas, to manage clients, onboarding, all this kind of stuff. Now, what I personally do, which I think is potentially a bit of a unique way of doing it, is that as per to hiring countless different people for my business, for my service, and putting them in different positions, such as you are a social media manager, you are a SOP generator, you are my ad specialist, you are my content strategist. I've actually just trained up AI on these different sectors, and I say trained up, more so giving it my take on things, and basically made it my specialist, my strategist in each of these areas. So this is a screenshot from a tool I use called Manus, which I'll explain in a minute. And I have about 15 different projects within this tool. And each of these single projects is AI, but it's specifically tailored to solve one problem or to be an expert in one area. So I have a hook generator AI. Now, I make a lot of content, not as much on long form, but on short form, I make a lot of content. A big part of making content is generating hooks. So what did I do? I trained up an AI model on everything I know about creating hooks. I've trained up on almost every single one of my short form videos that exist on my socials from the point of where I actually thought I was making good content. And I've told it to analyze my hooks of my top performing videos to understand what works best. So this AI tool that I have here is a hook generator. All it does is generate me hooks. Now, instead of me coming up with these hooks manually, I say to Hook Generator, I'm making a video about this topic, generate me a hook. And it generates me the most fantastic hooks that you will see that actually get insane views across my socials. I have an SOP manager one. So instead of me hiring someone or getting a VA to create an SOP for me, I have an SOP manager, and this AI tool is exclusively trained on creating SOPs, not only on how to create them, but world-class SOPs that the biggest companies in the world use, and companies in my space that are doing, 5, 10, 15 million a year use. This is the tool that they use. Like they use SOPs, right? So I've trained it on their SOPs to create me SOPs. So when I say to my SOP manager, hey, I need an SOP around, I don't know, scripting content, it can pop out one like that whenever I need. And it is insanely powerful, insanely efficient. Lead magnet wizard. Again, I make a lot of lead magnets. I trained an AI tool to create lead magnets for me. Now, the point I'm trying to push here is that you need to be able to use AI efficiently to streamline your tasks. If you're not doing this going into 2026 and you're still hiring people or you're doing it manually, you are by default falling behind, okay? And again, this isn't innovative. Like, this isn't crazy. This shouldn't be new news to you. This is just something that you need to do when it comes to your operations. Now, you want quicker, more streamlined processes, because with quicker, more streamlined processes, you get quicker results, you get higher lifetime value. Now, I did this. I created an end of year email sequence for my list of people. I have like 15,000 people on an email list, and I created an end of year sequence in 15 minutes. Do you know how long that would have taken me if I didn't have an email specialist project with inside my AI that I use? Probably about 5 to 6 days. or I had to hire a copywriter who's an expert in doing it, but I use an AI tool to help me do it. And it creates them in 15 minutes. Another one, I can create SOPs for my entire team to use in about 5 minutes. Again, insanely powerful. It's like a wizard once you figure out how to use it. So again, you want to create projects within these AI tools. I use Manus AI, which you can use very easily. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, Gemini, whatever you want. Create projects and give them specific roles. Don't just have an AI tool like Manus or like ChatGPT and just give it different tasks. Give it different projects, and it's almost like you have different teammates that you can tap into when you want and when you want to talk to them, and you can ask them to obviously complete certain tasks, which is very cool. I can also create a video on how to do this, but again, I'm not an AI content creator, so can't really be asked. So the whole idea is that you want to take every single task within your business and see if it could be streamlined through AI tools. You can also, in many cases, get rid of like a bloated team. If you have a bloated team, you have too many people that you're operating with that you realize aren't probably living up to their fullest potential in terms of the money you're paying them isn't really justified by what they're actually doing. Get rid of them, create an AI version of them. Like, you can most definitely do that. I haven't necessarily fired anyone in my team, but before I do hire for a role, I see if AI can't nail it first. And if AI can't nail it, then obviously I hire someone if it requires a bit more human interaction. But ad specialist, I have a variation of it as an ad specialist. This tool generates me ad scripts, and it knows my business like the back of its hand. It knows my ICP, it knows its pain points, it knows what my ICP stays up late at night thinking about. It knows every single competitor within my space because I've trained it on that. So I can go to my ad specialist, I can say, hey, this ad performed well, within my ads that I'm running. I want you to make another variation of this and double down on it. And it will create 10 more variations that all perform well. That's the idea that you're going for. Another point to make, however, is not to over leverage into AI. Use it as a tool, not a crutch. I think this is an important thing that I realize a lot of people are doing more and more incorrectly, where they use AI as a crutch. And actually, if they didn't have AI, they wouldn't have a business. That is not what you want. You want to use it as a tool that helps you excel, not something that you have to rely on. Okay. Now, that is firstly operating. Those are the things that are changing in 2026. Operating. You don't need a big team. You don't need a bloated team. You probably don't even need to hire in 2026. To be honest, you need AI projects that can work on behalf of 10 people with one project. Pretty cool. Next, we have acquiring clients. So the biggest change that I've seen going into 2026 when it comes to acquiring clients is a few things. Ads are dying. Cold outreach is dying. If you're relying on word of mouth or referrals, you are already dead in most cases. What I've realized is that content is king because content carries trust. Organic is king because organic carries weight. You can't fake organic. You're either sick or you're shit. And what I mean by this is that selling your service with ads, you can fake stuff. You can fake it until you make it. With outreach, you can fake it until you make it. With content, you can't, because people can see through the bullshit with content because you have a portfolio of stuff that you put out in the past. There's nowhere to hide. I've been creating content for a while now. I have years worth of a portfolio of who I am, how I've grown, how I've developed, how I started off doing social media management for restaurants in my area to now working with businesses doing millions a month, helping them scale for organic content. My proof of concept is there. You can't fake it until you make it. And that's why I think organic isn't only so powerful, but it's going to be the main acquisition system going into 2026 that people are using and people are doubling down onto. You either have proof or you don't. You either have the skin in the game or you're a fraud. You can't fabricate years of trust. No ad spend will outperform real conviction. I really think that's it. I mean, you've probably seen it watching this video. You probably heard about like trust recession. People are buying based on trust now. They're not necessarily buying based on that's a cool ad, I'm going to buy into that. They're buying based on, who do they actually feel emotionally attached to? And no one, nothing can create an emotional attachment like a parasocial relationship than content. Nothing could do it better than content. And that's why I think content is so important and so powerful. And if you're not using content, you have a service-based business, you sell to other human beings and you're not creating content, you are falling behind by default. And this doesn't mean you have to, make dancing TikTok videos. I'm not saying that. You can be on LinkedIn, you can be on X, you can have a really good personal brand on YouTube. Pick your avenue based on where your ICP already exists and go full steam ahead. Because content will outperform ads over the long run, 100%. No cost to acquire a customer, no cost to book a call in, no CPM, no CPL, nothing like that. It's just you make content. You obviously have a back-end SEO system that helps you actually convert that attention into a book call, but obviously that just comes with setters and traditional back-end sales systems, and you can get an insane amount of calls booked in. That's what I do. That's what I preach. That's what I teach and actually do for people. Example here, this month in December, I think it's more than this now. I mean, I took this screenshot probably about 4 or 5 days ago. I probably at this point generated over 6,000 leads for my service. What would 6,000 leads do for your service if you didn't pay to get a lead? There is no cost to acquire a lead. You are making content. It's talking to your ICP, talking to their pain points, talking about their pain points, understanding them like the back of your hand. You know what I do as well to actually help me do this? I use my SOPs, my AI SOPs, my AI hook generator and content strategist to help me do this. And I create content that generates me 6,000 leads a month on average, hundreds and hundreds of calls booked in a month through content, for organic content. This is how you scale past 6 figures a month. Okay, you don't do it through ads, because when you scale past 6 figures a month with ads, you're spending half of it on ads. You're spending probably another 10-15% on a team to manage it for you. There is nothing like content. I cannot stress that enough. And as we go into 2026, where ads are becoming more expensive, cold outreach is becoming more competitive, all these AI tools, it's just an absolute AI cesspit with outbound. And I know that because I also teach outbound to an extent, but I know that it's an AI cesspit. It's just all fake. You can't really fake content. And of course, there's AI tools out there now that are becoming more and more kind of realistic, but it's still harder to fake content than anything else. And that's why it's going to remain the king. Organic content is also hard, but that's why it's easy. That's an important point to make as well. It's hard, but that's why it's easy. And what I mean by that is that because it's so hard, so few people do it, which actually makes it quite easy to do. And it makes it easier to go ahead. You can run an ad. Anyone can run an ad very easily. Can you make content organically, consistently for months and months and years? Probably not. And that's why you can win. I generate hundreds of thousands of dollars a month for my agency entirely through organic content. If you don't yet have a personal brand, it's not too late. You just need to speed up. Okay. You need social proof, or actually this generates social proof, trust, authority, consistent lead flow, uniqueness. Where do you start as a question? YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Use those 3 platforms. You can use things like and X as well. If you want, if your ICP exists, use the platform that makes the most amount of sense for you. That's just kind of common sense. But start with a platform. Put all of your focus towards that platform. If it's on YouTube, make 2 to 3 videos a week. It's a lot. I know it's a lot, but you have to catch up because you're not where you should be with organic content. If it's on Instagram, make 7 posts a week. If it's on LinkedIn, make 14. If it's on X, make 14 minimum. And that's how you start to catch up. You are going to play the catch-up game by default if you're not making content, but you can catch up quicker with more output, more aggressiveness, more action, okay? And from an investment standpoint as well, nothing gives you a better return on organic content than evergreen return. I generate leads, some of these leads, I generate leads from videos I posted months ago, and I'm generating leads today, interested leads who want to buy my service today from months ago, from action I took months ago. You can't do that with anything else. With ads, when you run ads, great. When you turn them off, business dies. With referrals, like how can a business survive on referrals? You know, with outbound, same thing happens. Content is the only one that's evergreen, that lasts, that lives. The second thing that's changing in 2026, operating AI, use the shit out of it. Acquiring clients, you've got to focus on organic. Trust is at an all-time low, and therefore you need to take the most amount of advantage of it that you possibly can right now. You need to play the catch-up game, and you play the catch-up game by doing and doing and doing and doing. And then we have scaling, the third point to make. Now, what I'm seeing across the board, and this is more so just observations with scaling, because everyone scales at different points. It's not like you have to follow one path to scale. I'm seeing a lot more demand for a few things. Number one, done for you. I noticed that people want, I say things handed to them without lifting a finger. I've noticed that more and more with working with my students, is that the people they're talking to want things done for them. They don't want done with you. They don't want do it yourself. They want things done for them. I'm noticing a lot more in my service as well. I have a done for you service where I help people scale through content, for organic content. I'm noticing a lot more people say, do it for me. I can't be asked to do anything. I've got too much shit to focus on. Do it for me. I don't know if that's a specific thing for the new year. I don't know if it's because, there's more to do in general. I have no idea. But a lot more focus is going on to done for you. So if you don't have a done for you program or like an option for your service, you're going to fall behind. In fact, you should have a done for you. You should have it done with you, and you should have a DIY. If you don't have that of your service-based business, again, you will fall behind by default, because people will be more suited for the DIY. People will be more suited for the done with you, and some people will be more suited for the DFY, which means you tailor to those people specifically based on what they need, based on what you can provide. Okay. Secondly, people are paying more for offers than services. I think this has always been the case, to be honest. This isn't anything new, but it's something that I think is inherently important, because people are trying to sell on outcomes. People are trying to sell on processes. And services and individual things, and they're going very, very heavy. What I've noticed more and more and more, and more commonly, I suppose this isn't really a timescale thing, but it's just something that's apparent across the board, is that people pay for offers, right? People pay for the pitches, They pay for, actually, what am I getting out of it? What's the outcome? What's the offer? And what I mean by offer is like having a grand slam offer should always be your main focus, but really focusing on a killer offer. And there's a few reasons for this. Number one, I think it's because as more services come out, as more people sell services to people, it becomes a bit more dull. If you were going to offer a service to somebody 10 years ago, you didn't have to have an offer. You could just be like, hey, I'm going to help you scale through content. And they'll be like, fuck yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that right now. Same thing with ads, same thing with AI automation. If you went to a dentist and you said to the dentist, hey, I'm going to deploy AI chatbots into your receptionist, or, replace your receptionist with AI callbots, there'll be a no-brainer. You don't need an offer. You just need like a pitch. Now you really need an offer. Sorry, you didn't need an offer. You just needed a process. You needed a service. Now you really need an offer. Offers kind of like they beat the competition because offers stand out, and like offers talk about the outcome and the actual kind of like, okay, this is what you're getting. No bullshit. You get this, you don't get this, and you're gonna get this outcome. So really focus on offers. Focus on really nailing your offer before you start doing outreach, before you go crazy. I also get a lot of shit offers. I think that's one of the reasons why I think this is so important. It's because I get way too many poor offers from people. People offering shit things. It's because they haven't worked on their offer. They've worked on their service for sure. So they say we can do all of these different things. They haven't worked on the outcome. They haven't worked on the pitch. So really focus on your offer. Another thing, I'll scroll down a little bit. I've noticed that people are investing in content teams to build evergreen growth, and I've noticed this across the board a lot more as well. And this obviously kind of goes back to the point I said before about acquiring clients. People are investing more in content teams. So as where previously you would have agencies or just general businesses, whether it's service-based, whether it's brick and mortar, whether it's HVAC, it doesn't really matter. People would pay for ads agencies and they would say, run ads for me. As I'm becoming more familiar with the space, as I'm in the thick of it more and more, I've noticed that people are less so saying, I want an ads agency. They want content teams. They want content agencies. They want editors and setters and all this kind of stuff. And that is becoming very, very apparent across the board. Now, the beauty is that obviously we do this personally at the Kaizen. We actually help people with all of this in terms of like building out content teams and stuff like that. In fact, we do it all for you. So you need a strategist, editor, setter for acquisition. We do that all for you. So you don't have to lift a finger. I digress. What I'm saying is that this is something that I'm not saying you have to offer it, but I'm saying that if you want to get ahead, you need to start to build a content team. You start to have a scripter or an ideator or a strategist behind the scenes. You need to have someone to manage the data and actually track the data. You need to have an editor, of course. You need to have a setter as well in your DMs to actually kind of like actually organize the sales process and get people booked on calls. Whether you take the calls, you have a close to take the calls, doesn't really matter. But the point is you need to build this team out. Your focus should be on organic, on evergreen, on trust-focused scaling, okay? And again, we do this for you, which is beautiful because it means that if you're in this position, you're like, shit, I need to do that. You can always click the link down below in the description and book on a call with us. But nonetheless, these are the three main things that I've seen are the most important. So again, just to recap, operating, AI, use it, make it efficient, make it streamlined, okay? Acquiring clients, organic is beating everything at the moment. It just is by default. There's no argument. And of course, scaling. More done for you. And if you don't have those free packages, most definitely have them. People are paying more for offers and services because services are becoming more common. People are getting pitched more things on a daily basis. So you need to work on your offer. And of course, invest in content teams to build evergreen growth. Because if you're not, or you're hoping your business will survive on referrals, you're going to die in the nicest way possible. Not literally, but your business is going to die. Anyway, this is based on what I've seen from working with hundreds of people in the space, hundreds of agencies, what's becoming more common and what's obviously winning. And these are those things. So if you enjoyed, hit subscribe, check the link down below, and subscribe because there's going to be another video like this that you're going to most definitely enjoy. And I'll see you there. Bye-bye.